Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Inspired Tribe, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the Inspired Livestream right here on the Inspired channel. I'm Jean Nolan. This is my wonderful wife, Kristin Nolan.
Hello and welcome, everyone.
And Inspired Tribe on this Tuesday. This is a magical date, ain't it? It's 2/22/2022. So it's February 22nd of 2022, and we're healthy, we're wealthy, we're whole, we're unapologetically free, and we're also a little charged today, Inspired Tribe. I'll be honest with you, I'm a little charged today. A few things I need to get off my chest before we dive into today's topic, but let me welcome you. Let me repeat this. This has been the mantra. It's live stream number 243. We've been at this for a while, and the mantra is we're healthy, wealthy, whole, and free. These are all birthrights, by the way. Health, wealth, wholeness, freedom, birthrights. We need to affirm this every day. So let me welcome you here in the live chat, and then I need to get some current things off my chest, really important. And then we'll dive into today's topic, which is a continuation of yesterday, sort of. A lot of practical answers to some of the questions that you all had, and really important bridges that we're going to build today. But let me say, Mr. Pierce, M. Pierce is here today. M is here. A lot of M's today. Good to see you. Yeah, truth will set you free. Then Chris, welcome. Picnicky, good to see you. Alone, you're not alone, my friend. Stands alone, also not alone, my friend. Definitely not. The tribe is here. Then we have Black Sky, good to see you. Natalie is here, welcome. Miss Patty from Cali. Also, if you're watching this, please introduce yourself in a live chat. Let us know where you're tuning in from. It's always wonderful to see how the earth comes together from so many different places, right?
Angelo from Italy.
Italy, bella Italia. Ciao, amico, come stai? We have Son of Tor. Then we have Rare Rain. Mike is here. Welcome. I'm Kai. Wim Sturm. Tina. Nikki. Ramsey family. Darla, so good to see you. Tracy from the Stars. Also, some really creative names here. Sandy is here. The Graham is here. Good to see you. Monique. Please wake up. Good to see you. Okay, Kristen. Frank is here. Wie geht's dir, Frank? Schön, dass du da bist. Then we have Pet is here from Colorado.
Oh, we love Colorado.
Nice. Lori's here. Zbigniew. Good to see you again, my friend. Angelo, Joanne, Barb, Johnny, Jesus, Mark. Jesus in the house today. Beautiful, beautiful. Ingrid is here. Paula, Greed Bunnens from Belgium. Good to see you. Saskia, wie geht's dir? Miriam is here. Miriam Pedersen from Sweden. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you all for tuning in.
Sweden, Poland, and Austria. Oh, my Lord. Greece.
Patos Kepos, a Serb from Austria.
Belgium, New Mexico, UK, Texas.
Prijatelj, Srbije u Austriji, kako smo?
Florida, Illinois.
Wonderful. So let's dive into just some current things because the world's going, well, what can I say? The world's going crazy. It's gone crazy. It's gone up on the insane level. What we've been hearing over the past weeks and months, of course, that's a classic wag the dog kind of buildup, which we've seen with the Ukraine situation. What I mean with wag the dog buildup is please go and watch the movie Wag the Dog with Robert De Niro from the 1990s. Not because these actors are such wonderful human beings. We all know that. But because it really portrays how these political situations work. I also want to say something a little more about Canada. But to stay on a Ukraine thing for a little bit. For the past 15 plus years, we have had a go-to crisis situation that could be turned on and off whenever they needed it, which was the war on terror, which was terrorism. And so whenever there were domestic political problems, scandals, polls were horrible, support among the public was down, there would be a terrorism threat, and they could divert all attention to that. and they could send people's minds in a crisis, fear, worry situation, which would, of course, distract them from what is happening right in front of them. And the Ukraine has been such a thing for many years now. You can turn it on and off no matter, when you need it to. Why? At least the Western world, but a lot of countries are chiming in on this and are vocal about this and are tuning into the situation is because the past 2 years have made them politically dead, completely dead. Like they have no capital with the population. Governments around the world are hated by the people. Their pollings are some in single digits and some in low double digits, very low double digits. So as a matter of fact, these are last straw situations. And so then they turn on a crisis that really, it's really not a crisis because it has been an ongoing situation for centuries. The Ukraine is a very, very old country, very, very old cultures, very, very old alliances, and also very, very old conflicts. This is nothing new. This is before NATO. This is before the Soviet Union. This is before all of it. And what is happening locally on the ground, most people have no idea and don't grasp. And so what this is a power play to distract the populations from the horrible domestic policies and politics, to distract the people from the last 2 years of tyrannical dictatorships in so-called democracies. And now they want to pull your attention over there to a conflict that we cannot understand because it has so many different implications. What I can tell you is, at least from what I've heard over the past years, whenever I heard from people on the ground, the dispute is really geopolitical. It's not local. The dispute is geopolitical. This is just powers that are scared to lose territory. This is not the dispute itself among the locals has not the implications that we're being told it has. They have pretty much made their choice and they've made their bed of what they want and what they don't want. But that's just one thing here. Another thing that I didn't really express over the past few days, but that I think is just, it really, and here's full disclosure. I am most of the time a very, very Zen being, which means I'm really
99%.
Thank you, honey. 99% of the time, I'm really Zen being. I'm balanced. I not because I tried to be, but because I've for such a long time chosen the path of connectivity and the path of balance. That's just my nature, and I think it's my original nature. But I'm telling you, it pisses me off what I'm observing for various reasons, but mainly because of the inaction and inactivity still of the broader public. And taking this Canada situation, which shows us the beauty of a peaceful gathering and a peaceful stand for something. And on the other hand, it also shows us I don't even have the words for the actions, the words of the government there. But let me put this into perspective. If they would be honest, media, governments, politicians, with you, we have a monumental crisis on our hands that is human trafficking. It's the biggest and oldest business. It's the biggest organized crime in the world. It surpasses illegal arms and drugs. And if we were to take the same classification standards for this crisis as we do for the crap that they call crisis, it would be the biggest monumental crisis in the world. Child trafficking, human trafficking, sex trafficking. The numbers are so insane and unthinkable. And so then they go and declare freaking martial law over a peaceful protest. And it's so dangerous that they even in the first day, suspend the discussion about that martial law in Parliament which needs to happen if you declare the emergency or if you invoke the Emergencies Act. You need to go to Parliament. It needs to be discussed and either approved or denied. And they suspended the discussion in Parliament because it was too dangerous, when for 2 years they have done their mental masturbation online when they could meet on Zoom and do that crap online. Now it was impossible. And so they could go in and use goons and use the worst scumbags that have prostituted themselves to go into the crowd and on mounted policemen and go and be violent and do that crap over a peaceful protest when we have a real crisis on our hands, the biggest crisis, that's human trafficking, that no one talks about, no one cares about. And my assumption is because too many of them are involved, profit from it in one way or another, or look the other way. So I had to get this off my chest. It is so stupid. And the only thing that will stop that from happening is if we, and I've been saying this and we've all been saying this, if we quit participating in this insanity, in this moronic, idiotic, complete insanity. It's absolutely beyond belief how this is such theatrics, such an idiocy, and I can't find the words for that. And you can see this does no, I get angry about it. It doesn't make me angry. It cannot do anything to me. I get angry about it. And I know that I can channel this anger into something positive and something constructive. That's why I come here. That's why we talk. That's why we do these things. But I can just tell you, and we have the same monumental, moronic thing happening here in the United States with an extension of a national emergency, which has been going on for 2 years. 2 years, basically, in many ways, there are such emergency powers on hand that you could equate it to martial law. And we're extending this over nothing. And we're not discussing, looking at the real problems that need solving, at the real human tragedies that happen every day. There has been for the past year a completely open border in the United States, which the biggest problem with an open border, especially in the South, is human trafficking. It is human trafficking, drug trafficking, of course. It is organized crime that you get in such vast numbers that it's almost unthinkable. And so it's all so upside down. And it's not even the politicians. It's not even, because that's to be expected. These idiotic morons, evil, horrific people, they've been in place for such a long time. It's to be expected. They don't have a backbone, a conscience. They don't have consciousness. They don't have a heart. They don't have a soul. There's nothing there. But what is not to be expected is the public still going along, is people still going along, people not in a mass movement, continuing what the truckers have started in Ottawa, what so many people are starting. But it is not until we withdraw our consent, until we withdraw our energy from this, that this will stop. This will stop. I'll tell you one thing. It would be a lot easier, and I'm not trying to find excuses for law enforcement, police, and National Guards, and whatever the equivalents are in different countries where military is moving on protests or whatever the law enforcement agency is in your respective country. I don't want to take responsibility from them, but if they had more support from the public. I've seen pictures over and over again, videos over the past months and 2 years of protests and people and numbers of people that were just so enormous that police just had to step away. They had to take their helmets off and just couldn't go with it. That needs to happen every day. And we need to have a withdrawal, because for 2 years, they've been locking economies out. They've been locking people down. They've been closing economies. They've been shutting everything down. And they've been telling us that it's for the public safety. Now for freedom, you can't do any of that. Now for freedom, you can't do these things, but that's exactly what needs to happen. It's exactly what needs to happen. Everything needs to be shut down, shut down, shut down. That's what needs to happen. So rant over. Thank you for thank you for listening. I need to get this off my chest. I'm a human being, and I don't want to pretend this site doesn't exist. I don't want to pretend that I'm Zen 100% of the time, because I'm not. But this anger does help me because I channeled it. Okie doke. And there's more to her than just a hand. So, Inspired Tribe. Let's dive into today's topic, which is, I even forgot how I worded it, but it's about the practical application of forbidden knowledge. And forbidden knowledge it's not an exaggeration. It's not a clickbait. It's not something that, this will sound good. The truth is that a very, 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 very small fringe minority, now we have an example where we could actually use this term and it's applicable. A very, very small minority, if you will, symbolically speaking, a handful of people have held the majority of true wisdom and knowledge on this earth about everything that is important for centuries and millennia. And this forbidden knowledge always leads to the same thing. I mean, people get lost in rabbit holes, and I was one of them, and I'm still at times research things, in a strong intensity. But these rabbit holes are only helpful and beneficial to explore if they lead to one thing: greater empowerment. And this forbidden knowledge, what we kind of started with yesterday, is part of that forbidden knowledge: who you really are, and who you are in relationship with this legal system, with this financial system, with this societal system. This hidden and forbidden knowledge must always lead to empowerment of you, the individual, so you can empower yourself to live a free and authentic life, because that is really what is the forbidden part here. All this knowledge, and here's how this works. There was a time on earth, and I have memory of this time. I can go into, if you want to call it that, Akashic memory, my own previous lifetime memories in deeper states of meditation, where I enter these spheres of consciousness. There was a time on earth where we had complete knowledge of our purpose as a species, of the purpose of Earth, of the ways of how we create, of how nature really works, of how our relationship is with other species. All of these things were a complete body of wisdom and knowledge that was within us and that we passed on to the next generations. Over time, this dark force has began to first take out certain pieces of that knowledge and wisdom completely, so you have holes in it. And what they have then done with the rest of it, they have compartmentalized it, and they have detached it from every piece from each other. That's why today we have experts and disciplines and subjects, and we have, as I always say, we have history and chemistry and biology and geology and geography, and we have all these different disciplines that are part of science, and then science is again divided into 1,000 different sub categories, which truly it all belongs together. And so do all the quote unquote esoteric teachings, or even what some people call occult teachings. All of this is a body of wisdom that can only be completely understood and can only be completely internalized and used for your own life if it's all being brought together again. And part of this, a big part of this, is what we again talked about yesterday, is who you truly are, what your status is. And your status isn't defined by your peers, and your status isn't defined by a government, or isn't defined by the standards of an organized society. Your status is natural. It comes with you because you were born. And people are asking me when they discover the legal fiction that we talked about yesterday, the person. So that is the legal fiction that governments create and then they give it to you, so you can identify with it, and so you can use it in the system. And people always ask, well, how do I get rid of it? How do I get out of the system? And we have tried all of these things. We've lived completely outside of it. We have detached completely. We've looked at it completely from the outside. And after a while, more realizations come to you. So, for example, one of the things that almost everybody on earth has is ID. And ID is really identification. But what does that mean, that word? It's not authentication. It's identification. The difference between the two is that something that is authentic is unique. There's only one of it. It's authentic. One. Whereas identification, it already implies that there's two, and one identifies with the other. So if you, for example, have a driver's license, that little plastic card, which is also, I mean, I'm all for people learning how to operate a 2-ton, 3-ton vehicle or more. I'm all for people agreeing on certain rules on the road that everyone's going to follow. That's all great. That's all a good idea. But just so you know, once you learn all these things, understand them, and apply them, there's no need for you, really, as an operator of a vehicle, to ask somebody else for permission to do that. Really, that's as a human being. But let's just leave that detail here aside for a moment. But if you have this ID, if you look at this as, hey, this is me, and somebody asks you, who are you? And you say, hey, this is Mike, here, this is me. This is where you truly, even on the inside, identify with it. Whereas, what if you looked at it as an adapter? What if you looked at it as something that you can or cannot use, that you choose to use consciously, but in your heart and in your consciousness, you hold the awareness, no matter what, that that's not you. It cannot be you because it's a plastic card. And whatever's printed on that card cannot be you. It cannot even truly represent you. What if you held that as a mental and as a heart image? And this has changed so many interactions that we've had with the system. Thank you so much. I just saw somebody. Rachel, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Rachel. We've had so many. So I want to say this, completely out loud. I wouldn't talk about this if we didn't really if we didn't have the experience of living through this, of being pulled over by police and having these interactions and saying, no, I do not wish to contract with you. Said this to police officers many times. Thank you. I appreciate the offer. You want to provide a service to me, but I don't accept that. And the one thing that never really works, and this is something that's important, is confrontation, but it never works anywhere, really. There's really not a lot of power in confrontation. There's sometimes power in standing your ground fully, but that's not confrontation. That is standing in your power. But going out and looking to humiliate or disrespect one little piece of that puzzle that usually, like regular police officers, they do a lot of good every day. These men and women are out there, and a lot of them are great, wonderful people who really truly want to be helpful in their communities. So to go out and seek a confrontation with them just because you want to prove a point really doesn't do any good. We've seen so many of these videos, and we've been part of these conversations with officers where I realized there's no value in that. There's no value in trying to prove to an officer that I am a natural being and that I'm really not this legal person, because 99% out of the time, it's neither the situation nor the place nor the time where their mind is in the right place. But I've also noticed that my own attitude, my own space of mind and space of heart determines how these interactions go. And I've made a choice a long time ago that I would have a wonderful relationship with every government agency I get in contact with, because I realized that for a lot of the things that we are doing in our lives, we still, in some way or another, have these communications. We haven't gone off the grid completely. We haven't really detached from society completely uh, as a conscious choice. We decided to stay. We decided to be, at least in many ways, a part, or some ways, a part of it, simply because we were called to do this work. So, in this situation, it is important to know who you are. Never leave that knowledge, never leave this understanding. But at the same time, if you approach all these situations from a space of love, and if you have a space of love in your heart, then all these things play out really nicely for you, and they give opportunities to help people understand certain things better and comprehend certain things better. So, through when you go through your daily life, you can begin, which is really important, begin to analyze for yourself, where am I acting in my capacity? Where am I living in my capacity as a natural being? Where am I in a capacity as a legal entity within the system? For example, anytime you enter a corporate court, which there are common law courts, hard to find, but supposedly there are some. But every court that you enter is really a commercial law court. And in the moment that you enter it, and that you begin proceedings in that court, and that say, when they call your name, say I, all those things, you agree to certain things, and you actually contract with that court, which you don't have to as a natural being. It's a choice. As a natural being, however, you cannot be in those courts. A natural being, birds don't go to court, and neither do foxes and snakes and fish. They don't go to court. So, as a natural being, your place is not in court. But here's also something that's important to understand. Um, Part of why this system has created itself, let's call it that for a moment, is because society has a right to protect itself from individuals who disrespect common law, individuals who break common law, individuals who hurt others, individuals who steal others' property, individuals who kill others. Society does have a right, and a right to proceedings. All tribes in history have had that. So when you begin acting outside of the consciousness of a natural human being, you sort of, knowingly or unknowingly, agreed to be treated as a legal entity that needs to be regulated. That's why we always say that freedom is the highest form of living. It requires the highest form of personal responsibility and the highest form of ethics and morals, because you need to hold yourself to that standard. As soon as you break these standards, as soon as you become a violent or dangerous individual to others, you are moving into the status where society needs to protect itself from you. So is a place for all of that. There is a place for systematic justice. That's really not the point of this discussion. The point of this discussion is for you to begin to distinguish in your own life, where am I the natural human being doing what is natural to human beings, acting like it's natural to human beings, and where am I acting in a capacity as a legal entity? One of the things where you can realize this is, it feels foreign to be in the capacity of a legal entity, because it is foreign to the human being, to the human nature. So when you go into these court proceedings where you, about stupid things where no one is harmed, no crime has been committed, all these, you, because of the language, because of the unnatural proceedings, you feel in your heart, in your spirit, this is not natural to me. This is a very unnatural environment. It doesn't feel right. And so a lot of the distinguishing is by feeling. How does it feel to me? Then it's also important to, as I said before, detach from the identification. You really are not John Smith, born on. You are not that. You are a natural man or a natural woman, a living, breathing man and woman in the flesh, alive. And you could change that name, right? I mean, people can go and have their legal names changed. Does that mean they changed? Does that mean they are not who they were before they changed their names? No. So this is another piece of evidence that you cannot be that name. You cannot be that which is on a plastic card. What begins to happen is, because here's the thing, when we speak about spiritual knowledge and wisdom, and when we speak about legal knowledge and wisdom, and when we speak about all the other different disciplines of knowledge and wisdom, the forbidden part, and like I said before, is to bring these pieces together, because it makes you a complete, whole, and free being. Because when you put all of that together, you have built the bridges that it requires for you to have a complete body of knowledge and wisdom to guide you through your life. And you're not dependent on a system anymore. You don't believe that a system is real anymore. You don't believe that the matrix is real anymore. You believe in your own power, and you believe in the power of your connection with the creator. And that's the forbidden part. This sounds simple. You know, I can talk about this in about 30 minutes in a live stream, but it takes years and even decades to deprogram the old thought and to allow for the natural being to truly take over and be who you were meant to be. This is why we always talk about this. So, and this is truly forbidden. Major religions are forbidden. So their representatives, they are forbidden from sharing a lot of this connective knowledge that would connect one piece to the other. All of the major religions are holding back huge pieces of their scriptures and written wisdom, because it would create all the question marks that we have as humans. They would be deleted. They would be answered. One of the big pieces that, for example, the Roman Catholic Church, which, you know, it's kind of a guiding light for the broad vision of Christianity, right? One of the big pieces that they took out of the scriptures is reincarnation. Well, that changes everything. That changes everything. Reincarnation, you know, for all intents and purposes, for all that we know, was taught by Jesus. And so it is even expressed. You know, Jesus was what? Resurrected, right? So he was born again. And we take this also symbolically, and we don't see the deeper meaning in that language, that reincarnation was a part of the Bible, was a part of the scriptures. If you take it out, you have just inverted the whole meaning of everything. You've just taken out a major part. And so this forbidden knowledge needs to be reinserted into our understanding of spirituality, our understanding of religions, our understanding of science, our understanding of who we are. And the application of that forbidden knowledge is what changes your life. It's when you start taking what you're learning from all the sources that you're learning it from your own meditation, and applying it in your daily life. And Christine and I simply made a plan. When we began on a bigger scale transforming our lives, we said, okay, we need to change our attitude about how we're dealing with government agencies, how we're dealing with quote unquote authorities. We had to first practice this, because we were never taught. So we had to go through the scenario. Okay, I'm going into this government building today. I'm going to do this today. In what consciousness am I going to do this? What's going to be my state of consciousness that I'm going to enter there, that I'm going to talk to the people? Who am I and who are they? And once you practice this and begin to apply this in your life, then you will see the changes and how things that used to be impossible, things that used to be hard, or used to be something you would try to avoid, you're now welcoming these situations, because it is another opportunity for you to practice this knowledge and wisdom that you've gathered. This is really what our time really calls us to do. And for the longest time, this has been a looming thing out there, where small pockets of people everywhere in the world were practicing this. And now we're seeing large groups of people going out and doing this. They're practicing a new state of awareness. They're using forbidden knowledge. Over the past 2 years, how much forbidden knowledge was there? How many things were censored? How many things were turned off? But what does that forbidden, censored knowledge do? It empowers you, because if you have it, you have a bigger picture and you can make way better choices. And then you can apply that knowledge to your own life. This is the secret is never complicated. Its implications are complex, absolutely, but it's not complicated. The secret is always simple. It is the courage to live it, the courage to bring it into a practical application. And so no matter what your situation is, if you are rich, if you're poor, if you're indebted or debt-free, if you are in a country that is under strict laws or in a country that is a little freer, really your background in this doesn't matter. Everyone has the potential to transform their lives by applying the knowledge, by applying the forbidden, secret, hidden knowledge. But what is really important, you have to be as broad in your search for this as possible. What people are doing, they're kind of nitpicking and they're picking out a piece here and a piece there, and then they're saying, I got the picture. This is a deep, you dedicate your life to the truth. You dedicate your life to piecing it together. You dedicate your life to finding the authentic way of living. And when you do that, it is a lifelong quest, because there's still, even today, holding back and trying hard to hold back some of the most valuable pieces of that knowledge. And it will continue to do so because they don't know another way. The keepers of this forbidden knowledge, that's how they've been programmed over centuries and millennia. That's what their forefathers and foremothers have taught them. It's a circle that's almost unbreakable. But we're accessing this knowledge now through different means also. It's not just by oral, giving it orally and receiving it orally or finding it in books. It is also through deep meditation and accessing the field. Because the field, whether you call it the morphic field or the Akashic Chronicles or whatever you want to call it, the quantum field, it holds all these things. It has all the information. You can access it. And this is why we've been saying for the longest time now, the beauty of this time is that people who have done extensive research into politics, geopolitical things, have done extensive research into history, into the financial system, into the scientific system, they're also entering the spiritual, metaphysical realm now. And when these are all pieced together, you begin to really apply this to your life. Because for the longest time, we had two groups, the ones who were developing spiritually and metaphysically, and the ones who were developing on the external world, where they were looking for the conspiracies and the rabbit holes and all of that. And now these two worlds are merging and coming together. That is when the forbidden knowledge begins to present itself as wisdom for your life. How do I truly change things? And so we have an absolute amplification of this momentum right now. And you just need to begin step by step, day after day, apply more and more of that knowledge to your life and say, hey, maybe my family has done this like that for 4, 5, 6 decades. Maybe this was all I knew until now. But now my horizon is broader. My knowledge is greater. My wisdom is deeper. I want to change this and really bring this into your life. How we nourish ourselves, what we eat, what we put into our bodies, what we drink, what we consume with our minds, all of these things have monumental impact on our lives, the quality of our lives, and on the success of our endeavors. Because only when we begin to apply this forbidden knowledge and forbidden wisdom, we begin to enhance the quality in our life. What happens when we enhance our own life quality? We enhance the quality of everyone around us too. We become better contributors to our families and communities. We have brighter ideas. We have stronger convictions. All of these things begin to happen. And so this is such an empowerment journey. But the empowerment cannot stop with you satisfying your own needs and for your own gratification. It cannot stop with you just doing this for you. You have to realize you're doing this for the bigger picture, that you're part of a big puzzle, and that the best way that you can improve it all is to become that puzzle piece that you were meant to be fully. and to really live up to that fully. And that's what all roads do not lead to Rome. All roads lead to what you might call enlightenment, what you might call ascension, what you might call higher consciousness. That's where all roads really lead to. That's what the cosmic spirit is trying to show you through all the happenings in the world right now, through all the polarity and all the duality and everything that's happening. The cosmic spirit is showing you the path to this higher consciousness. And so that's why I realize this anger, when I give myself permission to express it when it comes up, it triggers a deeper, greater, bigger picture. I never, my anger has absolutely zero potential to end up in violence. I'm just not wired that way. I've never been. And so it's a really powerful tool for me to do that. Very rarely, but it happens. And so I encourage all of you to find these energies that are so helpful for you, to seek the forbidden knowledge and to piece it together. We've had some of the greatest breakthrough moments in our seminars, in our gatherings, when groups of people came together that were as different as they could be. Remember back at the seminars that we did some 10 years ago, we would have physicians, engineers that dedicated 20 hours of their day to creating that free energy machine, completely immersed in that. And then we would have the meditator, guru, yogi who meditates 20 hours a day. And they would be in the same room, and an amazing synergy began to happen, symbiosis, beautiful coming together of wisdom and knowledge. And they realized, and this is the beautiful thing, so the hardcore engineer, free energy, physicist, facts guy, and the yogi, meditator, spiritual guy, they realized what they're seeking is one and the same thing. What they're desiring to express and bring into the world is one and the same thing. It is a different side of love, a different expression of that consciousness. And that's what we need to understand. It all belongs together. It has been pulled apart. It has been cut into pieces. And when people say, do not trust your own research, do not trust your own intuition, do not trust your own guidance, trust the experts, say no. Don't trust the experts. Don't. The expert is a box thinker. Not all of them, by all means, but most of them. That's how I've been trained and taught. They're box thinkers. They think inside their own little bubble and box, and they don't see the rest of the world. Become someone who sees the rest of the world and pieces it all together. And I can tell you that forbidden knowledge, it's in front of you. It's all around you. You just need to put the pieces together differently. It's like every word is created out of the same set of letters, right? It's how you piece them together. It's how you string them together, and where you put in the breaks, and how you express them, and how you put the feeling into them, that either creates a story that moves millions and inspires millions, or you create something that brings fear and worry and horror to the people. Same letters. Use the same letters. You use the same letters, you just piece them together differently. This is where these secrets come together. And not all of it can be put into words. So there's absolutely no way around prayer and meditation going into these deeper states. That's where these things are being pieced together. Most of the aha moments we've had over the past 15 years were in meditation, because the spirit has a great way of showing knowledge, wisdom to you, bringing you aha moments, moving you forward. That's what it's meant to do. So this is a little bit of building bridges today. A lot of building bridges today. I want to thank you all for your time. Please do subscribe to our Rumble channel. If we can get it all up and running, we might do a Rumble live stream.
Convoy.
Yeah, we'll probably start doing Rumble and YouTube simultaneously, and then just cut off on YouTube one day of the week and go over to Rumble. There's certain things that we can really only discuss there. So please do subscribe to the Rumble channel. Links in the description, links also in the live chat on top, and the link is going to be in the comments after we log off. Last but not least, an invitation. Thank you for those who've already signed up for Yado. It's always beautiful when the group begins to form. We kind of begin to feel the spirit of this retreat that's coming up. For those of you who haven't heard about this before, we're doing another Yado retreat, YATO, you are the one. And that's happening May 5th through May 8th in Port St. Joe, or Cape San Blas, Florida, to be precise. Beautiful, beautiful hidden little beach in Florida. And it's going to be a deep dive into connecting with who you really are, with the consciousness that you really truly are, and with leaving the comfort zone. I want to be perfectly honest with you. This is not a sugary, bubbly, we're just going to create this hype energy. This is way deeper than that. We do go deep. We want you to connect with the deepest part of yourself and the highest consciousness of yourself. And so these are deep dives, deep meditations, quite deep practices and experiences. And we're going to leave the comfort zone. It's not that we're going to stretch it. We're going to leave it. But it's amazing. And it's really, truly the only way we know how to do these things. It's powerful. And the intention of this seminar, of this retreat, is to create a shift in your energy. It's to create a shift that you can take into your everyday life and implement and begin creating those changes that you truly want to make. And for changes in your life to happen, you need to change the energy first. You need to change your own energy. The truth really is that you need to change who you are. The old you lives the old life. The new you lives the new life. That's it in a nutshell. How do you create the new you? How do you bring forth the real you? How do you connect with that deepest, truest, realest, most authentic part of you? How do you really bring out those qualities? How do you really bring out those strengths, those truths that are buried somewhere deep inside of you? That's what we're going to do together. And we love this. We love going deep. It is intense. It's beautiful. Tears, laughter, smiles, jokes, stories,
Silence.
lots of silence. Getting comfortable in being uncomfortable.
Someone is asking, would you guys ever do a retreat in Europe? Yeah, things change.
We've done these things in Europe for quite a time.
Many times and years.
There's not a big desire right now, to be completely honest. There's other parts of the world that we want to explore with you, but Europe, maybe in 10
we
years.
couldn't even go there right now.
Yeah, right now it's not really accessible to us anyway. So, yeah, if you say, hey, this speaks to me, this inspires me, send us an email to info@inspiredchannel.net with the subject line Yado, YATO, you are the one. And we'll send you all the information. As we've said before, we don't really advertise this. We don't put this or have any sponsored ads or any promotion about this. We just talk about this because there's a natural connection that happens. And the group size is limited. So if you say, hey, this is it for me, please sign up sooner rather than later. And it's limited because we want to connect with you on a one-on-one level. And
so we need a small group for that.
Yeah, we need a small group for that. The way we see it is there are no strangers. There's just friends we haven't met yet. And so we look forward to meeting you, friends. So yeah, if this speaks to you, info@inspiredchannel.net. Put Yado in the subject line, YATO.
I put it in the live chat.
Awesome. And so we'll send you all the information. Inspired Tribe, thank you for joining us. But
someone said stupid subject. What a waste. I love it.
Oh, well, there you go. Love you too. So we'll see you all again on Thursday, 2 p.m. Central, right here on the Inspired Channel. Till then, be inspired, be courageous, be free. We love you.